Good evening, Nick Inman from VolumeProfileTrader.com on Tuesday, June 19th, and the market followed through to the upside today. Had a little bit of resistance up, basically at the top of this high volume area, 1358.75 up to 1372 really, as far as a potential upside resistance target. Whether we get that high, remains to be seen. You have to look at what's going on with the Fed tomorrow, and I'm sure they'll have some type of impact on the market, whether it be up or down. It's probably going to move the market some, and that's really what the market's waiting for. It's tough to be a buyer at these prices after this move we've seen off the lows. Basically at resistance. This is not the time to be a buyer, but looking to take profits and perhaps, riding those profits a little higher where you can look to take them off, say 20 S&P points higher than current price. But at the same time, you have to take advantage of this strength and realize that you don't know what's going to happen over the next week. The market could easily retrace back to the 1320 range or so, and then maybe break out, or it could keep going and then maybe we roll over here, something like that. You just don't know, so you take advantage of these prices with your the longs that you've been holding, and you rack in some profits. There's nothing wrong with ringing the register. So let's go into just a few names that I want to cover. Apple pretty much flatlined today, not much going on there, but nevertheless higher high, higher low relative to yesterday, so that remains positive. We are at what is the top of this range right here, and you'll know what I'm talking about. This sure looks like a CIP to me. And that's what, look at what we're banging against now. So really you had a successful potential short off of these levels, maybe a good shot. What it is risk defined, where we've seen sellers jump in before. Here we go. Will they jump in again? And we'll have to wait and see. Nevertheless, this long that we caught from the 575 level or so on the breakout, it's been a nice trade. I don't think there's any reason to look to take profits on this trade. There's nothing necessarily wrong with it, just the fact that we're at potential resistance, and today gave us, it didn't give us necessarily a big reversal to sell, but it, let's put it this way. Apple drops down to 580 tomorrow. I think it's worth the risk on a trade that just got up and went. Looks like a pretty nice breakout here. It has the potential to keep going. And if the market likes what the Fed says tomorrow, then you'll be happy that you didn't take profits into this level and you gave it a little more cushion to run. After all, one of the most important aspects of trading is to let your winners run, and this has the potential, and should be given a little bit of a leash. And let's face it, if you're in when the trade was triggered around 575 or so, anywhere around that range, to lock in 1% of profit isn't a bad deal. With the potential, you're giving up, say, an extra 1.5% of profit for the potential. Let's say this thing runs up to 600 to 610. We'll say in the middle, 605. You get an extra $15. Well, really $17.50. On top of what's going on, right here, right now. If you want to see what a losing trade looks like, let's look at it. Freeport-McMoRan took the U-turn off of this level, which has been resistance. It was a hedge against potential market decline yesterday. Some type of retracement back to the balance area that we saw. Guess what? We got the exact opposite of that, and you had an opportunity. Well, if you didn't cover yesterday, which it wasn't necessarily a bad idea. Um, you should have gotten stopped in the first bar today, and you take your stop and you move on. You don't move your stop, because look at what happens, or look at what can happen when you move your stop. So respect the market, respect price, and notice that this is a valid breakout in my opinion, and you're going against some potential resistance, which I consider this value area high here with this high volume. Look for a potential sell off of this level, but at the same time, it's still breaking out. So I would be interested in being a buyer of weakness type of thing. All right, gold. Actually, this was a name, not a name. This was a commodity. I was actually thinking about, taking a shot at the short side, and to be honest, I missed the trade. By the time I was looking at it, it was late in the afternoon, and it wasn't a lot of risk, about 1%. But I'm kind of, I was bummed that I didn't catch where I wanted, so I was gonna wait until tomorrow. But I think the fact that we're up against this high volume area where we've seen sellers before, or I should see where we saw the market break down, looking at last month's profile, perfect selling into this, to a T. And now we're seeing another rollover. Just look on any potential strength, selling gold into the Fed's news tomorrow, especially if price warrants that. And if it does, you could have a nice winner, and it could push down to, say, 1590 as a potential target. And if it really gets going, you could see 1560 or so, just to point that out. So gold looks a little. It's a little suspect, just like actually silver, maybe the better play. Nevertheless, you're looking for a potential breakdown here, and if it holds, I would be a little surprised. But I would like to think that we're about to see the next leg down in these, but we'll have to see. It's hard to sell at support right here, right now. So don't. And if we get a pullback up to 2860, look to buy some put spreads on the SLV or something like that. And if price goes your way, let them run. If it doesn't, then take off the trade. It's not worth it to hold. But it looks like this is a breakout that's ready to happen. And same thing with gold. Looks like we could see a retracement here to the downside. Just showing a few others. Copper, it kind of looks like Freeport, but it's bouncing off some major support. And we just actually got the point of control shift, so we should see a decent run-up, or we could see a decent run-up in copper. We'll have to see. I would have to think so, which kind of makes me regret why I was trying to short Freeport yesterday, but that is part of it. You live and you learn and you move on. The point was, didn't take a big loss, took a small loss, and licked my wounds and got back in there. Realized that my portfolio's net long, and you're looking at a day where the market appreciated in value. Therefore, your portfolio should have. Just a few more names. Intel continues to do well. Let me zoom in some. Alright, broke out above this high volume area, which was pretty shocking. Double bottom off of the 200-day. Actually a pretty nice entry here at the bottom, just looking at price. And we've seen a fall through to the upside. Where are we at, though? We're coming into the value area for last month, and we'll see if that proves to be some type of resistance. I've been wanting to actually lock in some profits for Intel, but the market hasn't told me to do so yet. Today was the first sign of a potential, reversal, because we didn't make a new high, but at the same time, we didn't make a new low. So, I'm definitely watching these levels, and I have no problem ringing some Intel if we start to break down, it looks like we could reverse some. That's just part of trading, and you're not going to catch the absolute top or bottom, but your job is to sell at support and resistance, and it looks like we could be at potential resistance. We'll just have to wait and see. FedEx, this was a pretty big breakout today, earnings today. Not sure if the market liked them, don't really care. I just want to point out that we are at the point of control for the year on FedEx, which could prove to be some type of selling or potential selling area. I also see that it's trying to break out off of this 200, off of this declining 55. It's trying to break out from there, and you need to respect that. You look at it on an hourly chart. Let me zoom out a little bit. Alright, one more time. Okay, and you can see the reason for a potential, point to sell against, and it's valid if you caught it up at these levels and you look for a retracement back down. But you have to be careful here, and if the market breaks out to the upside, your stop that is in place above these highs could get hit easily, could lose a little bit of money, but you have your risk defined, and that's what is important. And it's nevertheless it's been an area where sellers have dominated. I look at the last 3 times it was in this general price range. Here we go. 1, 2, and here we are again, 3. So we'll see, but nevertheless, your target, the 80, basically where this candle broke out, could be a potential downside target. Really, Google, pretty nice buy off of these lows here yesterday morning. I'm sorry, Friday afternoon going into yesterday morning. You just got followed through. Now we're at the value area high for the month, but I would be looking a little bit more north of, more towards 590 as a potential level to take some profits. Price line continued its upward path, and we're at a level again where we've seen sellers come in and dominate, but we haven't seen it yet. Right here, right now, buyers continue to push this higher. We'll see how much more it has. Will all depend on the market tomorrow, or I should say the Fed. So anyways, take care, have a good night, talk to you tomorrow.